Hello and welcome back to the Elite Racing Network for the Elite Indycar Grand Prix at the Glen, presented by at 500 Indy 1911. Coming at you live on the Elite Racing Network with Robert Hill Jr. here as the producer and broadcaster. It's not your typical guys that do the IndyCar stuff, but we're going to give this a go tonight with some guys missing and whatnot with the real Indy 500 coming up in the next week. So we are looking forward to bringing you this broadcast. I believe it's Robert Hill's first broadcast overall and my first one in IndyCar. As you know, if anybody's tuned in the other series, you know, you can find me at the F1 series and the Xfinity series on Monday nights.
Absolutely, yeah. This is my first time producing here, so if you are tuned in tonight, be sure to bear with us. But it should be a good night here tonight, Chris. I think we're looking at a decent field. Looks like about 20 cars here tonight, and qualifying is underway so far. Why don't you walk us through some of the stats heading into tonight's race, like how many laps and whatnot?
Yeah, tonight's race is going to be 60 laps from Watkins Glen. It's going to be 204 miles. The standings here, Alex Van de Sant is currently leading the points over Victor by 25 points. Adriano is sitting third. Chad Frankenfield and David Porcielli, I believe.
Yeah,
Not
I
quite
think
sure
that
how
sounds
points
about
are.
right.
Yeah, if I butcher anybody's name, feel free to hit me up after Twitter and tell me how stupid I am. That's fine by me. But I'm not sure how points are scored here in this compared to the NASCAR stuff. I'm not sure how tight or how big that gap is. I know there are 6 races in here. Looks like Van de Sant has got 2 wins here and has 5 top 10s with 11 bonus points.
Absolutely. Alex Van der Sant is always one of those solid guys. Seems to be towards the front in just about anything he drives. And like I mentioned, qualifying is underway. Alex Van der Sant is out on track right now. So why don't we take a look at his qualifying effort and see a lap around this place?
Yeah, Alex is one of the guys he races in the other series, not just the IndyCar stuff, and he's always strong on the not the IndyCar stuff. I'm obviously strong on the IndyCar stuff looking at the points, but always strong in the stock cars. Was one of the Championship 4 drivers, and the A car. His oval stuff is pretty good, and of course on the road stuff in a stock car, he's always one to watch. He's been really fast in some of the F1 races that I've seen him do, so no surprise at all if he were to win this thing tonight.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't be too much of a surprise. Like we mentioned, we're both pretty new to this IndyCar stuff, but I mean, looking through the field, you can tell Alex Van der Sant's always going to be a strong competitor. His championship rival Victor Del Porto should have a good run tonight as well. He seemed pretty decent in practice, and then Chad Frankenfield's always pretty solid. He seems to really love these cars, and obviously he doesn't love this place as much as Indianapolis Motor Speedway last week, but it should be a good night for him as well. Definitely interesting qualifying so far. I know the first half of qualifying, they send out everyone from 15th on back in points, and then the second half is everyone in the top 15, so that's why it seems a little jumbled right now, but pretty shortly we should see Alex Van der Sant, Chad Frankenfield, Victor Del Porto, and the like put down some lap times and really see where this field stands.
Yeah, Alex just started his hot lap here. We will see if he can knock Ethan Stanley off the pole, who is currently sitting at a 127.76, which is faster just by a little bit than what Van de Sant went in practice. So we will find out real quick if Van de Sant has the pace to go and get Ethan off the pole.
Yeah, absolutely. As you see Alex going around the track here, he is definitely using every inch of the track that's available to him. I don't really know if there's any major off-track points here, such as some other tracks like Circuit of the Americas and whatnot, where the slightest off-track will trigger a 1X incident and outdo your lap. But Alex coming around here 2 sets at a time, see what
He
he
is
can put
using
down.
everything too. Like, that is incredible to see how easy he's making it look out there using all that runoff.
Absolutely. Obviously, we're NASCAR boys here, so this is totally new to us. I don't think I could run like that. He got that so close to the wall and exit. Let's see what time he puts down here as he crosses the line. Top of the charts for Alex Van der Sant with 127.18. That is it's a pretty fast lap.
Yeah, that destroyed his fast lap in practice, and it has destroyed what Ethan has put up there too. I mean, running across these curbs at Watkins Glen, since they gave us the new configuration here with the repave and whatnot, those curbs are not easy to just run off and run over and hit. Like it will wreck you, you know. In a stock car, I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen in Indy cars and whatnot. Like, those curbs are not easy to go across, and Alex just did it like he was on a Sunday drive.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that this is Alex. This is Alex's playground. It does look like Adriano Pinero did about the exact same lap time as Alex, so he's going to be another one to watch tonight as we watch Justin Fortner going around the track here with 3 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in qualifying. So far, so good for him as well, putting himself up in the top 10, but I was shocked to see Alex go so quick, and then Adriano matches him. That's pretty surprising.
Yeah, I mean, he ran right on top of him. It was a 178 for Alex, and Adriano ran a 179. So they practically ran the same lap.
Absolutely. These guys, there's definitely quite a few guys we're going to have to keep an eye on here tonight. As qualifying is just about to wrap up here in about 2.5 minutes. These guys are definitely getting excited for tonight's race. I know we are. Watkins Glen's always a fun track, and can't wait to see what these guys do with 60 laps out here.
Yeah, and as someone who's going to be stepping into this series for the first time in the fall, I think I'm going to have to go straight to Alex and Adriano here and ask them for some tips and be able to hit the ground running, because I believe if I was in here, I'd be about 18th or 19th quickest right now.
Yeah, I'd be right back there with you, and that doesn't say much as only 17 have taken the time, but these cars are definitely much different than the full-size stock cars that we're used to. You know, I just raced this track last week in an Xfinity car, and it's definitely not driving like these guys. As Jared Rexing takes some bumps and gets himself a little bit of air there in that beautiful number 10 Nesquik scheme. Jared's another one that we've seen a lot in the stock car scene, and nice to see him dipping his toes here in this open wheel series.
Yeah, like you said, there's some names in here that we have grown accustomed to seeing on the oval scene, and there's some new names that we don't see. It's kind of like the F1 stuff. You got some new names, you got some of the familiar guys you're familiar with, and throw them all in a bag and see what happens.
Absolutely.
Alex is about to finish another lap. We will see if it is as good as the first one. He picked it up.
Wow, that's a quick lap out of Alex Van der Sant as he ends the life of that car. Definitely not something his engineers were looking forward to, but wow, what a lap out of Alex Van der Sant. That's it's pretty impressive. He went about 0.2 quicker there than Adriano Pinero, as Adriano is out there right now trying to beat that lap set by Alex Van der Sant. See here in just a few moments if he can do it. Definitely on track for a pretty quick one here as well, as Adriano crosses the line.
Wow, there it is. Look at that. We got the 6s. We got the 26s.
Wow, that's a quick lap out of Adriano. You know, he definitely did not want to be beat by Alex, especially considering how close they were on lap 1, as we watch Chad Frankenfield finish up his final lap here with just a few seconds remaining. I'm not sure if he'll have enough time to get back around, but Chad's definitely pushing it here, trying to get as much as he can out of this car. I don't know if he'll have enough time.
I think so. It looks like it's counting down from about 2 minutes and something. So I think he's going to get to finish this. But wow, what a turn of events. We saw Alex go out there, better his lap, and then Adriano says, look at this, I got something for you.
Yeah, I think it might be something in that number with Adriano. He is driving the 56 tonight, which us NASCAR guys typically see driven by Tate Lytle, who's always a strong competitor. I think I gotta look into changing to the 56, and maybe I'll start getting some better laps in.
Yeah, and looking at Chad here, as he's going to come across here shortly, that looks like a little bit like a Graham Rahal scheme. So
Yeah, definitely a nice livery on that number 15 machine. Chad's Mr. IndyCar around here. Let's see what he does as he crosses the line. And Chad picks it up to P4. Solid run for Chad Frankenfield. As looks like the last car on track was Victor Del Porto, but qualifying has come to an end here. It's like we're gonna be setting the grid here in just a moment.
yeah, it was a very nice lap for Chad there at the end. Like I said, that Graham Rahal scheme, it looks good. I wonder if that's who he's going to be pulling for in the Indy 500 next week. I know he's planning on attending the Indy 500, so
Yeah, I think it's about the 95th time that Chad's been down to the Indy 500. He's always talking about Indy 500, Indy cars. He's definitely a big fan, and it's great to see someone so dedicated to that series. And I know the guys on the IndyCar tour have definitely taken notice of Chad and Dave Huckleberry, who's typically on these broadcasts. He is down there this weekend alongside Tony Donohue, who's also a regular to these IndyCar broadcasts. So hopefully those guys are having a good time, and if they're tuned in, hello. If they're not, then hopefully they get on that shortly and come cheer us on.
yeah. And I know Dave has been taking some pictures. So if you don't follow Dave on Twitter, I suggest go following him. He's got some cool pictures he's been posting here the week leading up to the Indy 500. I'm sure there'll be more posted tomorrow and the rest of this week, all the way up until next Sunday. So go follow him and check out some cool pictures and some cool little garage area pictures. I believe he's got a bronze badge, so he gets quite a bit of access here in the month of May.
That's definitely exciting for those guys. Let's take a quick run through our grid here and see where everyone's starting off tonight. See where your favorite drivers are. Let's roll up the grid here, Chris.
Yeah, we got Adriano starting on the pool with a one hell of a lap there, 126.93, the only car that got down into the 26s. We got Alex Van de Sant rolling off second, Eric Troiano rolling off third. We got Chad Frankenfield, Ethan Stanley rounding out the top five.
We got the Canadian Craig Forsyth there in P6. Solid run for him in qualifying. Joao Ritter, sorry if I butchered that name. He's rolling off 7th. Justin Fortner 8th. Victor Del Porto, second in points coming into this one. He's starting about mid-pack in P9, so he's definitely going to hope to make quick work of the field here, try to get his way up to the front. And rounding out the top 10 tonight is Ryan Schull. We roll through the rest of the grid here, take a look, see where your favorite driver's starting, see how much work they have to do tonight, as it's quite a few guys here tonight, 19 on the grid, so definitely a good chance for movement on the grid, and also unfortunately a chance for some calamity as well. We wait for the pace car to roll here. It should be happening momentarily as everyone is appearing on the grid. So here we go, formation lap underway.
Y'all good over there, Robert?
Yes, sir.
Are we still live?
Yep.
Okay. All right, we're doing our parade lap here. Looks like Adriano is going to take driver's right down into turn one, the inside lane.
Absolutely, as these guys come into the bus stop here, This is the chance where the drivers are getting ready, taking their final sip of water, getting pumped up. They're ready to go. It actually looks like there may have been a crash in the background. Let's take a quick look here. It's definitely not how these guys are looking to start this race. Not sure what happened.
Oh, we got
Oh
some.
no.
Oh,
Looks like Jared Rexing may have had an issue there, and fortunately he is back on pit road. Nicholas Sudik fortunately had an issue there as well. Hopefully he's not too badly damaged, and we can rejoin these guys here momentarily as continue this formation lap coming to the green here shortly.
yeah. And I'm not sure about the rules. Are there a couple different tire compounds that these guys have to use, or what? How does that work?
Yeah, I don't believe there's specific rules when it comes to tire compounds. Fortunately, I don't have that information, but I believe in the IndyCar it's just the one tire compound, unlike the Formula One car where I believe you have to cycle through at least 2 compounds during the race. I may be wrong. I believe you would have more information on that than I would, but yeah, this could get interesting. 60 laps tonight. I'm not too sure what a fuel run is for these guys, but it'll be interesting to see who can outlast who and who can make it to the end here.
Yeah, and I'm not sure about fuel windows either. So we will figure that out as we go. We're not, this is not customary for Robert to be broadcasting at all. He's picking this up, going to be with us for the B season for sure. And I am not, I do not know enough about these Indy cars and whatnot to be able to give you any kind of hard fuel number to know if it's going to be a 2-stopper or a 3-stopper. Bear with us at home as we go green, and he is on the chip. Adriano with a great jump. Van de Sant's able to get down to the bottom. We will see everybody trying to get single filed out.
Field's definitely pretty stretched out here up through the S's. Adriano got that nice little jump that he wants heading up here into the bus stop. Hopefully he can get a nice run through there as we do cycle through the bus stop here on one. It's definitely going to be an interesting race here as everyone tries to get straightened out and see what they can do to battle for position.
Yeah, I do know dirty air is a big thing in these cars, so I am curious to see if anybody has any trouble in places kind of where it's narrowed up to one lane, like the S's. You have to follow somebody through the S's. There's really not any other option, and somebody might push out and hit the wall.
Adriano is doing a really nice job so far, trying to stretch that lead as much as he can. He's got himself almost a 1-second lead right now over Alex Van de Sant. That's pretty impressive so far.
I will say I am seeing teams on 2 different tire compounds. That leads me to believe I think we are going to see I think they do have to use both sets of tire compounds here.
Okay,
we have some on the red tire and some on the black tire, so I do believe that is something that is going to happen through the race.
Yeah, that'll definitely be an interesting aspect to this race. Just looking through the field here, there's a few battles, not too close though, but I think the closest one towards the front so far is Eric Troiano and Chad Frankenfield. As Chad's trying to chase down Eric here. Currently they're separated about 0.3, but Chad's always pretty strong here through these technical corners, such as the bus stop. We'll see what he can do to try to chase down Eric here.
Yeah, I venture to say catching him's one thing, passing him's another. I think you kind of get in that spot where you're just kind of stuck.
Absolutely, yeah. These cars definitely aren't the easiest thing to pass in. As we do have a nice battle here. Hunter Smith, Justin Fortner. Hunter Smith did just complete the pass here, but we'll see if Justin can battle back and catch him. It does look like Hunter's got himself a nice little run off the corner here as he's chasing down Victor Del Porto into the corner here and down a little bit of a straight. See what they can do. Wow, A nice close up here by Hunter.
Yeah, well, Hunter's on the red. He's on the softer tire right now, so I think he's trying to make hay on this soft tire. And when you're on that soft tire, you can't get stuck behind a guy. You kind of got to be aggressive.
So yeah, it does look like Victor's on a harder compound here. Maybe trying to stretch as far as he can. Obviously, as we mentioned before the race here, he is second in points entering tonight. So any chance he gets to try to get closer to Alex Van der Sant in the points, he's definitely going to do so. As this battle continues to heat up, I think eventually Victor's just going to let Hunter go here, as it does look like he's going to do it on the straightaway here before the bus stop.
It's just incredible watching these guys drive off into the bus stop like that, where we're on the brakes so hard in a stock car. Those guys are just still carrying throttle, going to turn in at 140, 150 miles an hour.
Absolutely, yeah. As we head back up here, watching from Alex Van der Sant, he is chasing down Adriano still, about a 1.4 second lead Adriano has. So he's definitely, I don't know if he's too comfortable so far, but I think I would be.
Yeah, he's got those front three, are separated. You got about a second and a half to Alex. You got Eric back there, about another second. Not quite a second to Chad. You got Craig. You got Ethan. Ethan is one of the guys, too, that is on the soft compound.
Yeah, as you see another battle here with Craig Forsyth and Ethan Stanley coming onto the front straightaway here. We'll see here if Ethan makes a dive at him into one. You do see that quite often, but turn one can definitely be either your friend or your enemy, as you see a lot of guys go off here and eat a bit of that tire wall, which definitely does not help these open wheel cars.
Yeah, any little bit of damage to these open wheel cars can end your day. He's got a big run here down the back. I just don't think he's going to have to be a little closer, I think, to make that move. Oh, there we go. He missed the bus stop. That's going to... Oh, but he's off in the grass.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
This is wild. And just behind them, Joao Ritter is coming into the picture. He's just... he's licking his chops here. He's getting ready to pounce. These guys are pushing. They're going hard. And I don't know if they see Joao in the mirror. He's ready to go.
If you're Ethan, you got to be so frustrated. The guy in front of you missed the bus stop, went wide through the center, and in your attempt to pass him, you drove through the grass.
Absolutely. As Ethan's trying to make that pass, it's just, I think Craig has a little bit more bite on the exits it's helping him pull away. Ethan's diving back in as, we have Joao Ritter behind them. Hunter Smith's also right in that battle. So this thing's heating up, and it's going to be interesting if any of these guys slip up. And
oh, here we go. This is going to be the big move right here.
Hunter Smith, Ethan Stanley makes that dive here on Craig Forsyth.
Wow.
And he backs off. Because this is one battle here so far, Chris, as Ethan finally gets by. Joao Ritter looking to make that pass, and Hunter Smith diving on the inside. This is crazy.
Yeah, these guys on the Reds, they've got a lot of pace right now.
Yeah, I don't know if these guys are thinking here, but it's lap 5 out of 60 so far. But as you mentioned, they are on the Reds, so you really have to maximize that, because if you're still mid to back of the pack and you're on the Reds when there's guys ahead of you on the hards, it's definitely not going to be something that's helping you out too much, as they're going to be able to go farther. And clearly they're a bit quicker in pace, so you definitely got to maximize to the fullest extent that you can. As Hunter continues pushing, and Hunter Smith loses it. Oh,
wow,
no.
That was clean, though. That was clean. He did not hurt the car. Wow. Yeah, not what you want to do on Reds. That just killed his run on Reds.
Absolutely not. Let's go back and take a quick look here at Hunter Smith. Like you mentioned, he's just pushing it here, trying to catch the car ahead of him here, and it just looks like maybe some air got up under him and he got loose. He did a nice job keeping off the wall there, and he was able to keep it continuing on. Unfortunately for Hunter, he's back in the 13th position now, as it's getting a little crazy early on here. It does look like the battle up front is getting a little closer, as Alex is now less than a second behind. As you see on the screen here, you can see Adriano just ahead of Alex Van Sant. Nice job so far by these guys. They've got themselves almost a 2-second lead over Eric, and then that's about 4 seconds back to Chad. So nice little gap for this top 3 here.
Yeah, and to get back to that Hunter deal, I think what happened there is he came off of there a little lower. He was in clean air. As they exited the corner, the car that was in front of him kind of came down a little bit, and as he was washing up a little bit, and as soon as he got all the way in behind him, all that air dumped on the nose. I would venture to say he probably got pretty tight all at once, put a little more wheel into it, and it just turned sideways once it, once the back caught. Like it just turned him a little bit sideways. The air in these cars does crazy things. I feel like that's one of the things we don't have to deal with on the stock car side just yet. Like they still haven't got it over there. It's dirty air. Whereas in this car, I feel like it's about like it is. I venture to say in real life, when they talk about dirty air, they get to somebody and they just get stuck.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you definitely do see the air playing a big part in these Indy cars and the Formula One cars as well. As Hunter Smith's back in another battle here with Joseph Grijalva. Or Grijalva, I'm sorry.
Oh, we got a big wreck. Ethan Stanley is wrecked down here going into 1.
Oh no, let's take a quick look at that one here and see what happened. Looks like Tiago Benedetti and Craig Forsyth both affected in this one as well. Taking a look from Craig here. Yeah, that's a big wreck for Craig and Tiago. This looks like Craig got in there a little hot compared to Tiago, and the end was inevitable for those guys, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that'll be it for those guys. You're not going to get back out here in a wrecked Indy car like you would in a stock car.
Absolutely not. It's really unfortunate as well, because like you mentioned, we're still pretty early in this race, and it's unfortunate that their night has come to an end pretty early on, as Craig Forsyth will be relegated to 19th with Tiago Benedetti there in P18 as well. As it does actually look like Tiago's still out there on track as he's trying to drift his way back home to pit road. He's definitely got some damage on that thing, but kudos to him for doing his best to try to get back there to at least have a bit of pride. And
yeah, and Ethan Stanley's still driving around here too with no front wing right now. Obviously, he's going to be coming around to pit road, but
yeah, Ethan Stanley, it's really unfortunate for him. Not seeing where Ethan had his incident, but
he got hit. He was running up there. The 33 ran him over into 1. That was him.
Oh, okay, yes. My apologies then for mentioning it was Tiago. Tiago must have had a separate incident there, but really unfortunate for Ethan Stanley here as he's coming down pit road. They may be able to put a new nose on that thing. I'm not too sure, but let's hope we see him back out there shortly. Definitely an early finish to the night for him that he was not anticipating.
Yeah, and you hate to. That was 2 guys that were battling in the top 5. It's not like they were running bad or poor. Ethan came through on his fresh tires, had just made that pass the lap before, and just got ran over there. I'm very surprised that the car still drove around and finished the lap as hard as he got hit.
Absolutely, yeah. Taking a look through the field here, we do have a couple decently close battles. Looking, looks like Nicholas and Ryan Schuld separated by about 0.3 of a second here, as these guys are definitely going to do a hard battle here. Hopefully, not repeating what just happened with Craig Forsyth and Ethan Stanley, but see what they can do. As this is definitely a track that's allowing these guys to spread out a little bit, but one little slip up and everyone's back together.
Ryan looks like he's hanging that thing out a little bit too. That thing's a little bit loose coming up off the corner.
Yeah, Ryan's definitely taking advantage of every inch of asphalt here. He's pushing hard, and we've seen it on the NASCAR side as well, where Ryan definitely pushes hard. He can be hard to pass, but I think that's what helps him succeed in these open wheel cars as well, is he just knows when to push and knows when to hold back a little bit. Continuing to look for some battles through the field here, Michael Hosek and Mark Murphy, they're separated by about 0.4 of a second here. as you see Hossack coming into the picture here behind Mark Murphy. Mark the rookie, Michael the only lasting Canadian in this race. He's looking to put on a big night for my native country here, and I do wish him well. But this battle does seem to be separating a bit as Mark's having a nice run. Pretty nice to see a few rookies up here in the top 15. We got Nicholas Sudik up here in 9th. He's a rookie, as well as Joseph Grijalva here in 11th, and Mark Murphy in 13th. So really nice to see the rookies having a good night here so far, and see what they can do, as it does look like Hunter Smith had himself a little bit of an off track here. Go take a look at that and see what happened to our friend Hunter.
Yeah, it looks like Hunter's night is going from bad to worse here after driving through the field on his reds. Got that little spin over there, and now here he is. This looks like what is this turn? This is off in the boot, isn't it?
Yes, I do believe so, as just looks like he takes advantage of a little bit too much space, goes off into the grass, and he's able to continue on. So not too much insult to injury there on his night, as he gets to continue on in P11. So definitely a nice recovery for him, as the battle with Ryan Schull does continue to heat up here. This is about to turn into a 3-car battle with Justin Fortner, Ryan Schull, and Nicholas Sudik, as Justin Fortner does go off track here. That's definitely not what they were hoping for, as now the field, these three are separating out a little bit more. But that was definitely not what they were hoping.
That's not Fortner. I believe that is a lap car. That is Diego.
You're right. Yeah, that is Tiago Benedetti. Yeah, these guys are pushing hard and keeping that battle going here, as Nicholas Sudik is chasing down Ryan Schull, battling hard for the 8th position here tonight.
Yeah, it's been an interesting race. Ryan, once again, just spinning those tires a little bit, coming up out of there.
Gotta wonder what that's doing to his pit strategy tonight too. By pushing it so hard, he's definitely putting some wear on those tires that you don't really want to have, because you really want to be able to stretch it as far as you can and make it as far as you can to try to get that solid finish. But he's taking advantage of every inch of racetrack.
Well, and like you said, that's the way, some guys are programmed to just race really hard every lap, and that's the way, that he is. And
absolutely, this battle's definitely heating up here, as Nicholas is looking to make the pass. He's gonna have to back out and try it again, as these two are pushing really hard. Ryan continues to take every ounce of rubber out of those tires, and we'll see what happens here. Is there's not too many other battles in the field. Everyone seems to be pretty stretched out. As we'll back up and take a look at Adriano taking advantage of the runoff room as well here.
Yeah, he's sitting there with a lot of clean air. Got a nice lead. Second half. It's kind of staying in there in that range. Easy Sunday drive for him right now.
Yeah, he's got himself a 1.5 lead, like you mentioned, over Alex Vanasat, and about 3.5 over Eric Troiano, and it's like another 3.5 back to Chad Frankenfield. So definitely an interesting night so far for these guys, and if it continues on here, or if maybe we'll get the field back together at some point and have another crazy battle throughout.
Yeah, and one thing I would like to point out too is Jared Rexing. We saw him have that issue on the parade lap, and his car came to a stop, and he had to start in the pits. He is up to P11.
Yeah, Jared's doing a really nice job recovering. Obviously, like you mentioned, he did have that early incident. He had to start on pit road, which definitely you don't want to do in these things. Like you said, he's doing a really nice job up there in P11, chasing down Joseph Grijalva here, and he's going to be pushing for a top 10 shortly. So definitely a nice drive so far by Jared Rexing.
Oh, we got a spin and a wreck. Nicholas is wrecked over there pretty hard. I believe a wheel's off that car.
Quick look here at Nicholas Sudik in the 21 machine. Oh my gosh, that was a hard impact for him. Wow. That car just about exploded, as actually we have another crash here. Justin Fortner just ended up crashing as well. we'll just take a quick gander at that one and see what happened to Justin.
Yeah, he's still trying to get rolling over here.
Yeah, he just grabbed a bit too much of the curb there, and it really upsets those cars if you get too much and carry a bit too much pace, and unfortunately ends up nose first in the guardrail. Not too much damage, if any, on that car, but it's always a tough spot to get backed up and get that thing straightened out with other cars coming around. But nice job by Justin to really minimize whatever damage he did have there.
Yeah, I'm really surprised with the car sitting like that, kind of stuck, that we did not get a full course yellow for that.
Yeah, that's definitely a surprising incident as well. But I guess he had enough of a little gap there to get himself going shortly before too many cars came around. It does look like some pit stops have started, as Justin Forner obviously pit after his early incident, and Michael Hosek came down pit road as well, as we see Jared Rexing up here in the 8th position now. So definitely continuing his climb through the field, as Yao Ritter has a nice he has a chaser here, and Victor Del Porto. Victor doing a nice job as well, as we saw him start about mid-pack, and know he's hungry for those points, and he's going to take every advantage he can get to get back up there and score as many points as he can to try to close in on Alex Van der Sant in the final point standings.
Yeah, just a few races left here in the IndyCar season.
Absolutely, every point does matter, especially after Indianapolis, where that's really a race that can be great for you or really a negative experience. And obviously Victor's taking advantage here. He's done a great job all season. He's chasing down one of the better open wheel guys that I've seen in my years on sim racing, and Alex Van der Sant, and definitely kudos to those guys for doing this every week and showing us stock car guys how it's done. And I look forward to seeing you out here next season trying to chase those guys down as well.
Yeah, I will not be in the camera shot with those guys, I am sure. But I do kind of wonder what what they think, because they're running the full season here, and a lot of guys show up just for the Indy 500. I wonder how they feel about all those guys coming in for just one race. You got a lot of guys. What was it, over 100 guys attempted to get into the Indy 500 or ride about, and all these guys show up every week, and they're like, what's this doing for them and their points, and that could really shake up their championship fight.
Yeah, I definitely think it can play a mental game with these guys as well. Like you said, we had about 60 guys try to qualify for the Indy 500, and we sent quite a few home, including an IndyCar regular or an IndyCar driver in Santino Ferrucci, which is shocking to someone like me, seeing someone as good as Santino get sent home. That just really says a lot about the strength of this league and the guys that are in it, that even our stock car guys can come out and play and really put on a show, and that says a lot about Chad Frankenfield and the admin team here and everybody involved, really, with how strong Elite is. And it's exciting to see their growth from day one to now.
Yeah, I was not a part of Elite until, I guess, early last year, so I've only been around for, give or take, around a year. And I came over from another league that a lot of guys run in. A lot of guys run in Erska, so I came over from that. And it's been a great experience coming over here, running this, and getting to know all these guys. And any chance I get to give Chad a shout out over all he does, and he runs a race every night of the week. Elite's in a bunch of different places, and getting the participation from real life drivers, like you said. Santino came over and he couldn't make it, but he's not the only one. We've got, Dale Jr. comes over on the oval side from time to time, and lots of different guys. I think Tony Kanaan is involved with a lot of stuff. It's great everything Chad is able to do for Elite.
Yeah, it's pretty special. He does have a full-time job as a teacher, and I don't know if he has the class out there making rule books or whatnot for Elite, but yeah, like you mentioned, we have quite a few regular pros in the field. We had Tony Kanaan and Stephen Wilson even just starting around me in the Indy 500 last week, and like you said, it's not uncommon to see Dale Jr. pull up to one of these shows, or even a driver like Kyle Busch has been around in the past, and a bunch of other great drivers like that. So it's definitely really cool to see the growth of this league as you see the pit stops continuing here and the battles continuing to heat up, as Alex Van der Sande is half a second behind Adriano here now. You got to wonder if that's tires closing up, or maybe Adriano trying to back it off a little bit and try to stretch it out.
One thing I will point out about Alex is we did an F1 race here about 2.5 months ago. And Alex, he was okay on the short run. I say okay. He was like top 3 or 4, but he was okay compared to the guys he was racing. But over the long run, towards the end, the last 5 or 10 laps on tires, he was fastest by not a little bit, by a lot. He was way faster on the older tires, as you see the leader pull off in pit right here. So definitely at least 2 stops for the leader, maybe more.
Absolutely, as we do see Adriano coming down pit road, like you mentioned, that will hand the lead over to Alex Van der Sande, as this is a long and slow pit road for these guys. Adriano is currently only driving 40 miles per hour down pit road. I was about to say kilometers, but that would be the wrong country. As he pulls into his pit box, he's going to grab 4 tires, fuel, and he'll be underway here in just a moment, trying to chase Alex back down. And it does look like he will be able to keep his P2 position on track, unless Jared Rexon can get by him here. As Jared is coming around the track, this is going to be close.
Yeah, one thing I find interesting is they're pitting this much before lap 20. Wonder, could they not get there? Are we going to see? I feel like 20 and 40 would be the way to play it, but if they can't get that far, they might make this might be a 3-stopper.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what the strategy truly is in this race, as at this point we really only do have 3 guys that have not pit so far. As I say that, Mark Robilas comes down pit road here, 12th position, but Alex Van der Sande in the lead, he has not pit yet, and the rookie Mark Murphy
right
here in 8th, as Alex Van der Sande pulls down pit road as well. This is definitely interesting. Like you mentioned, I would have expected these guys to go to at least lap 20, but I wonder if they have enough fuel to make it any further, or if Alex planned to go a little further and saw Adriano come down pit road and figured, yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this plays out. Alex is definitely, just a couple laps short. These guys got a lot of different things they can play with fuel-wise. They can turn the engine up, turn the engine down, try to make more fuel. We're going to have a tight battle here for the lead coming off pit road. Can he stay? He's well in front right now.
Yeah, Alex definitely taking advantage of that pit road here, as he is a 1.5 seconds ahead of Adriano here. Definitely a big opportunity for him to keep going and keep charging forward, try to put a gap here on Adriano, as Adriano definitely looks really quick on the short runs, but I don't know. Like you mentioned, Alex is really strong on those long runs, and we saw that on that last pit cycle there, where he was able to just close up and sneak by.
Yeah, one thing that we did notice there when the pit stops occurred, Alex was way, way better coming to pit road, had way more speed, got to that line. Adriano was a little bit more cautious, and I think that's how the lead change happened there. Alex was still about 3 or 4 car lengths behind him there when they pitted, and Alex even had to deal with the lap car staying out that extra lap. There was, he had the 24 right in front of him. He had to negotiate. So that tells me that the pit in and pit out, give Alex this round of this race right now.
Absolutely. Definitely round 1 to Alex Van der Sande over Adriano Pinheiro, as João Ritter and Victor Del Porto heating up here, battling for the top 5 position here in P5. These guys definitely don't want to be pushing too hard too early in this run, wasting those tires they just got, as every ounce of rubber definitely matters towards the end of these things, as it's getting interesting. Towards the front, less than a second separates Adriano and Alex now, 0.8 seconds difference. Adriano, as we're going to watch from onboard here, he has Alex in his sights. He's going to do everything he can to take advantage of every ounce of this track, get as good of a run as he can, as they're going to come into a couple lower corners that really doesn't seem to be phasing them at all. 7/10 of a second now separates these two, as Adriano wants that spot back. He's hungry. He's ready to go.
Oh, Zhao is wrecked over here, and he is going to be done for the night. Going into the bus stop there, he had some contact with actually another car.
That definitely was not what Mr. Zhao Ritter wanted there, as trying to figure out who that other car was.
I believe that's Victor. That is Victor.
Take a look back here. We'll take a look at Victor Del Porto. See if he has any damage at all. Hop out of his in-car here. We'll go back to the main view. That's Adriano. That is not Victor. Yeah, that was definitely Victor Del Porto that was in that wreck there. As he comes around the corner, it doesn't look like he has any damage, so he definitely got lucky. But definitely not what Zhao Ritter was wanting. He was having a great run there up in 6th place, and his night has essentially come to an end.
Yeah, and I wanted to really quickly blame Victor, but looking here, he kind of ran that middle of the track, kind of trying to drive defensive, not a block, and he just stayed there. And as Zhao came by, Zhao started to come back up, like he was going to come to the left some more, and Victor just kind of stayed where he was. And I don't know, Victor could have maybe gave him some more room. Victor definitely could have made that a little easier and not a wreck, but
Oh,
at the same time, he just kind of stayed where he was.
as we see another crash here with Tiago Benedetti.
Ooh, something happened to that car there. Who was that lost the front wing? That was Hunter Smith. Hunter Smith's night continues to get worse. Something happened there. I'm not sure if that car ran out of fuel in front of him. That is a lap car who's well off the pace. You know, we're talking about Tiago there, or Tiago, and he's already a lap down and almost, you know, I'm working on 2 down. He's at this point 50 seconds behind the leader. He just slows up there, and Hunter just has no chance to miss him.
Definitely an up and down night so far here for Hunter Smith. It's really unfortunate for him that he was involved in another little incident there, but gonna battle back. He's shown it all night. He's back up to P8, so definitely an impressive rebound so far for Hunter. Hopefully that little incident there didn't cause too much damage for him, and able to keep charging forward.
Yeah, and we're still sitting at a second and a half now with Alex over Adriano. It's 7 seconds to Eric. Chad is 16 and a half back, so Chad lost a lot of time there in the cycle stops. And Victor is sitting there in 5th after the incident between he and Zhao over there. I couldn't remember who it was for a second. We had a couple wrecks there back to back.
Things definitely were heating up there, as it does look like there's another little battle coming up here. Michael Hossack with Mark Murphy and Ethan Stanley. These three are pushing really hard, trying to get something done. Michael Hossack currently has that 10th position, and Mark Murphy wants it.
Yeah, and kudos to Ethan Stanley for staying in here and keep fighting, because he was running there in the top 5, and he kind of got ran over from behind going down into 1, got a lot of damage, had to come around and pit, drove a wrecked race car with no front wing all the way around, and now here he sits trying to battle back. He's got, you know, a top 10 right in front of him there.
It's pretty impressive. He does have a new wing, as you can see here. Great job so far by Ethan. It's up in 12th, taking advantage of other people's misfortune, and doing a really good job as he's taking advantage of every inch of track.
Yeah, it would have been real easy to just give up on it and be frustrated there. after you get wrecked that early, but he just he's going to keep on digging there. And I mean, who knows? Before it's over with, he might end up racing for about 7th, 8th, right in that range.
Absolutely, anything can really happen in this field. As Alex Vanasant has a moment, as looks like he came out a little unsettled out of the corner there, but quickly able to gather it back up as Adriano's closing back in once again.
Yeah, lots of guys fighting back after bad starts or bad deals. But Alex and Adriano, they have been the top two most of this race.
Absolutely. Alex and Adriano have been battling hard for this lead all night long. Victor Del Porto continues to charge through the field. He's up in 5th right now. He's got quite a gap up to Chad Frankenfield in 4th place here. About a 9.5 second gap. So he's going to have to take advantage of some pit stops and maybe some misfortune to a couple of guys ahead of him. But good rebound so far for Victor from mid-pack starting spot there. And Eric Troiano's just kind of held his own in 3rd tonight. He's been really quiet, done a really nice job. He hasn't really messed with anyone, gotten in anyone's way or anything like that. So great job by Eric so far. And if I were him, I'd be pretty happy with running 3rd right now, considering that he is chasing Adriano and Alex, who've really been the class of the field all night long.
Yeah, and we have yet to see some of these guys opt for the reds. A lot of the guys that started on the reds have switched to the blacks. So I am interested to see at what point, if it's going to be a 2-stopper or a 3-stopper. If your next stop is going to be your last stop, you're going to put reds on, I would think. And then you're going to want to put the reds on at the end. So maybe if you're one of these leaders, you do the opposite. Whoever pits second. Maybe if Adriano pits and does blacks, if I'm Alex, I go ahead and take my reds. If Alex pits first, just whatever. Maybe it's hard to pass. Adriano can get there and put reds on and try to make that pass and create a gap. And I'm just a big believer in, if you follow the leader, you're going to continue to follow the leader. I'm always trying to find some kind of scenario that gets me out front. Like, get me out front and let me try to hold them off, instead of just sitting there in second and conceding, just sitting there and saying, I'm not going to be able to pass him, but because that's the strategy I want to do, I'm going to continue to do it. Like, you got to try to do something to get the lead. If you're not the leader and your main focus isn't how do I get the lead, then what are you racing for? What are you showing up for if you're not showing up trying to put yourself out front?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's here to try to win the race. Obviously, certain guys know that they really got to try to continue to improve each and every week, and they might be a 10th place car, but like you said, you got to try something different. You can't always follow what Alex Vanasant does out on track or Adriano Pinero. You have to throw your own strategy in there, and I've seen it in our NASCAR stuff quite often. We hit these road courses, and you'll see a guy like a Chad Thornquist. He'll do some crazy strategy where he pits 10 laps before everyone else, and then the middle segment he'll go 10 laps further, and that's, to me, that's crazy, but it usually works for Chad. He usually ends up getting a better finish than where he was running, because he's changing it up, because he has the confidence to trust his driving ability and take that risk. And you might see that tonight with some of these guys, an Eric Troiano or a Chad Frankenfield that might be out of reach right now from the leaders, but one strategy call and they could be a couple seconds ahead, and that could change this race completely.
Yeah, I feel like, at the road courses especially, you see it, with like we saw Josh Adams, stay out to lead a lap and just to do something different. And that's kind of the way I think about it on the road courses too, but the road courses are a lot less, you're not gaining as much, you're not going to go from Chad Frankenfield in 4th at 20 seconds back to leading the race or having a shot to win on a strategy call. But a lot of times on the ovals with these tire limits and whatnot, like, maybe stay out and bite that bullet, and later when everybody has to pit, you have an extra set, or You get down towards the end of the race, everybody's out. You got that set, whatever, just your main focus should be on how can I get myself out front. Like, I've got a 10th place car tonight at Iowa. How am I going to get to the lead? I can't pass everybody. I'm not as good as everybody else. I'm not as good as the guys in front of me. Let me try to do something to put myself out front. And that's kind of the way I would approach even tonight in Watkins Glen. If I'm Adriano, it's hard to pass. Alex passed me during a cycle of pit stops. He passed me staying out a lap longer. He was a little bit more aggressive getting on the pit road. So how can I do that better? How can I enter pit road better? What do I need to do strategy-wise? What tire compound do I need to put on the car next?
Absolutely. Yeah, like you mentioned, you have to be thinking well ahead of time and taking advantage of every opportunity you can get. Like you mentioned, guys like Josh Adams in our NASCAR stuff, he'll stay out, and from time to time it will work for him. Sometimes it won't, but really have to be prepared to take advantage of every chance you get and take those risks, because you really never know. Even if you change up your pit strategy, someone else could end up getting into an incident, as Tiago Benedetti has crashed once again. Let's take a quick look with our Whiskey Cast replay here, see what happened to him, as his night has not been very good so far, as he clips that same curb that we saw another car earlier this evening just clip it and get stuck.
I believe that was Justin earlier, was it not? That spun out over there.
I believe so. Yeah, that was Justin Fortner, as Tiago actually did a nice job continuing on. So no harm, no foul there. As we continue back up here, Adriano continues to chase down Alex Van der Sant. It's about a 1 second difference here, 1.1, as Adriano is looking for that chance to pounce, but I don't know if it's going to come anytime soon.
Yeah, and if the furthest they can go is that 17, 18 lap range, we are about halfway through the fuel run. This is where I would look at Alex to maybe start increasing the gap.
Absolutely, yeah. As we saw last time around, Alex Van der Sant did a really nice job of kind of saving his tires and then charging away kind of late in that run. It was probably 3-4 laps left in the run. He was just able to hit Adriano and try to stretch out any chance he had at the lead. And now you just see him pulling away. He's up to 1.4 seconds, in about 0.3 of a second there that lap, and he's just going to continue charging forward. The only thing that might affect him now is we're going to get to the point where some of those guys towards the back of the pack are going to start pitting, and they're going to be hitting some lap traffic here shortly.
Yeah, and one positive, though, is Alex went a lap further, so his tires have 1 lap less on them. He was able to do that and take the lead during that cycle. And so not only has he got a little bit better tires, a little bit fresher tires, but he's also been in clean air most of this run, where the first run he followed Adriano. So he should be in better shape tire-wise, especially for the front tires. He should have way better front turn this run than he had the first run. Yeah,
as you look at the lap times here over the last 5 laps, it's been all Alex Van der Sant, with the exception of lap 25, where Adriano got a little bit of a blip on him here. Hunter Smith starts the pit cycle here for our top 10 as he comes down pit road. But as he comes down, we're going to be hitting some other guys here shortly, as it has been about only 12 laps since a lot of these guys pit, so maybe a few more until we see the next set of guys down here. But like I mentioned, Alex Van der Sant has done a really nice job of just continuously adding to that lead. Lap 23, he was almost 0.4 up. Another 10th on lap 24. Another 0.2 on lap 26, as he just continues to charge. But he is going to come up on a lap car here shortly, and we'll see how he kind of makes his way through.
There's a couple out there.
Yeah,
but
Alex is.
One thing that could be happening is those guys might have not known if they could have got how far they could have gotten. So maybe they realized, hey, we were 4 laps short of lap 20. Well, then in theory, right here, you can pit, and it's still just a one-stop race around lap 45. So if you're strategy is 3 stops. The window's open to make it on 3 stops easy at this point.
Absolutely, and as we are coming up on lap 30, these guys are probably going to be looking to split that last segment in half, give themselves a chance to do something after they've stopped. Otherwise, if you wait a little too long, you kind of box yourself in, and you're at the point where you just got what you got, and that's about it. Because Alex made nice work of these lap cars here, and Adriano's going to have to do much of the same, as the car ahead of him does go off.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That's going to hurt the lap time just a little bit. Maybe if I'm Adriano and it's going to be 3 stops, you know, I can't look at these fuel numbers. I can't tell if they short fueled the cars there and they can actually go over 20 laps. I don't know all that scenario, but if it's going to be 3 stops, if I'm Adriano sitting here, I'm going to go ahead and pit. I'm going to put on reds, fill it up, and I'm going to try to run as hard as I can to try to be in front of Alex on the other side of this pit stop.
Absolutely, that's a great point here. Pit cycles do continue. Justin Fortner on pit road, Ethan Stanley, Eric Macedo, as Craig Forsyth is working his way around the track here, doing a nice job there in P14, taking advantage of those guys pitting, moving up a few spots, and the only real battle we have on track continues to be Alex Vanasant and Adrian Pinero, but that's about 0.8 of a second difference. Otherwise, everyone else is gapped quite a bit. Actually, Jared Rexing kind of closing in a little bit on Ryan Schuld. Jared's doing a really nice job, up to P7 again after starting on pit road earlier tonight. So if I'm Jared, I'm pretty pleased with my recovery. Obviously, probably still a little disappointed that the pit road start had to happen, but he's done a real nice job so far.
Yeah, and this is going to be, you know, like you said, he's going to catch him. This is going to be for 6th. I'm not sure about the people who pitted already, if they would cycle back in front of him or not, but he definitely has the pace probably to run 4th, 5th, right in there, right around Chad and Victor, I would think is his pace. Maybe even a little better. I'm not quite sure how much time he gave up there and the traffic that he had to work early in the race, but it has been a great recovery. Great recovery for him.
Yeah, absolutely, and like you mentioned there, it doesn't appear that anyone will cycle back ahead of them, as the closest car behind them is about 48 seconds back in Hunter Smith. That's about half a lap. So if they can get on and off pit road pretty quickly, they might be close with Hunter, but I think they can keep their spots here. Jared continuing to charge, trying to chase down Ryan Schuld here. So they're definitely doing a real nice job so far.
Yeah, and one thing too, we saw a lot of incidents right before the pit stops, right as they were starting last time. So we're in that kind of spot again. These tires are kind of shot. The fuel load is light. This is where you could see some more guys make mistakes and get themselves in trouble.
Absolutely, yeah. And the weight definitely plays a big factor in these cars. We'll just head back up front here to Alex Vanasant, doing a really nice job, a second ahead of the field. But the weight definitely plays a big part in these cars when they're really light. You know, if they get unsettled or anything like that, it could be the difference from getting a clean lap in and ending up in a tire barrier. So you definitely want to have that aspect of being safe, but you also still want to push it and go as hard as you can. These guys definitely should be just a few laps away from their next pit cycle. Obviously, if I'm Adriano, I don't want to be the first one to go, but I also don't want to wait too long and kind of...
Oh, if I'm Adriano, I want to pit before Alex, for sure. I want to pit and get on the reds before Alex does. No doubt about it.
Yeah, and you're a bit more of an open wheel guy than me, taking advantage of watching these F1 races, so that might be the call, as Chad Frankenfield does come down pit road from 4th. Another one that's had a really quiet but solid night there in Chad Frankenfield, as Victor Del Porto goes by, takes the 4th position. Chad might kickstart that top 5, top 10 pit cycle here. He is one of only 3 guys now in the top 10 that have pit. It's like Justin Fortner has pit and Hunter Smith as well. Hunter, again, done a really nice job, and he's going to try to pass Chad Frankenfield if he can get there. I don't think he will, no. Chad Frankenfield will keep P7, but he's going to have some work to do here to try to catch those guys ahead of him and take advantage of some pit stops.
And one thing to note here for Chad, that is Blacks again. So he's going to make another trip to pit lane for sure. So that tells me that most of these guys are probably all going to pit twice. With Chad obviously pitting there, he's only going to pit one more time. Here, is that Adriano coming in?
Adriano is coming down pit road, so I would say Alex Vanastan's probably looking at coming down pit road next time here. It's going to want to stay close to that strategy. Eric Troiano also down pit road, and Alex is going to try to stretch it as much as he can so he can come off pit road as close as he can to these boys as the pit stops are underway. Alex continues to lead this race, but another one coming down pit road, Victor Del Porto in P4. So that should move Ryan Schull, Jared Rexing up the order, as Adriano had a really nice stop. He's going to come back off pit road, P2. So,
and he again took Blacks, so that he's going to put Reds on the last pit stop. We'll see how this shakes out through this cycle.
Absolutely. I think these guys are probably going to be looking at up, I guess, the second half of the 40s to come back down pit road, maybe give themselves a 10 to 12 lap run at the end. But so far so good in this field. Everyone's done a really nice job. Obviously we've had some incidents, but for the most part everyone's done a great job of keeping their cars on track. You know, we only have 3 retirements so far in Nicholas Sudik, Joseph Grijalva, and Joao Ritter. They unfortunately got into some early incidents here. Alex Vanestan, he's staying out there.
Yeah, he's feeling it. He's really good on the long run. So I think it's not a terrible call. It's not like, you know, Adriano put Reds on. So I think I like the call to stretch this a little further.
So knowing that the first run went 17 laps for Alex, do you think he tries to run out the fuel here and see if he can make it on this stop being his last stop? You think that's an option?
I don't think so. One thing that he could be thinking about here is running a couple laps longer and maybe going ahead and putting on Reds and running 10 hard laps on Reds and then coming back just after 10 laps and putting Blacks back on. That's one theory that could be right here if he wanted to just flip the strategies.
Absolutely. Strategies definitely going to come into play here. He's most likely trying to stretch his lead out as much as he can. Those new tires are pulling Adriano in just a little bit each lap. Adriano is actually doing a really nice job so far trying to get his way back up here. Don't think Alex will be out here too much longer, as you know, he's seeing that relative, seeing Adriano kind of closing that gap a little bit, but Alex is coming up on another lap car here, so see how he deals with this one, or if this
Alex
is the time.
is coming.
Alex does come down pit road here.
Once again, nails the pit entry. Holy cow.
Alex is doing a really nice job with those pit entries. I know myself personally, I would be sideways trying to come down pit road. I'd be in the pit wall. It wouldn't be a good time for me.
Incredible. Like I am telling you that he makes that look so easy, but I am telling you guys, all you guys watching at home, that is so incredibly difficult to be that hard on the brakes, that under control, and to make pit speed. Like, that is so incredibly difficult.
Absolutely. This might be pretty close on exit here. As Adriano,
did he get a penalty? Like, Adriano just went by him, I believe, correct?
Yeah, it looks like slow pit stop for Alex Vanestan. Possibly speeding on pit road or something along those lines.
Yeah. I don't think it was speeding because it was only a few seconds. I'm
not seeing any penalty or anything like that. Maybe just a slow stop for that crew. Sometimes it does unfortunately happen. Almost a 4-second lead now for Adriano, so that's going to be interesting to see how hard Alex Vanestan pushes this thing to try to get back up there. 26 laps to go in this event, so definitely going to be interesting. It's almost crunch time. Obviously, one more pit cycle here, so maybe Alex will have to play the strategy game, see what he can do. But you know, Eric Troiano only 7.5 seconds back of Alex Vanestan now, so he's a bit closer than he has been all night, and he's going to see what he can do as well. But think at the end of the day, it's still a battle between Adriano and Alex, and you've done a really nice job.
I almost wonder if this is going to play out a little bit later the other way. I wonder if Adriano short filled the car and Alex filled it up. Like, I'm not sure why Alex would have a 5-6 second longer pit stop. Like, there's nothing on iRacing, no penalty that would be that short.
It's definitely possible that he tried to get every last drop of fuel into that machine. You know, you have to take every chance you can get to fill these things up and stretch it as far as you can, because like you said, maybe he's looking to go a little bit less fuel on the last stop here, as Ethan Stanley has crashed once again. Let's take a quick look at that on our Whiskey Cast replay here. It's been a rough night for Ethan Stanley tonight, and I'm sure he'll be glad to get out of Watkins Glen here soon.
All the way, all four over that curb. Oh, they're not looking at a good spot there. Oh, that's not good.
No, that's definitely an unfortunate incident for Ethan Stanley there, as that very well may be the end of his evening tonight. So definitely a rough night for that 4 machine. We did see him have a few incidents throughout the evening. You know, I don't know Ethan's experience in these cars. You know, maybe just a rough night for him. It's lots of bumps here, lots of grass, lots of opportunities to go off track, so it happens to the best of us, and we know Ethan will bounce back next time out in these cars.
And Ethan has really good pace. He was running top 5 tonight when he had his first incident that was not his fault. Just got hit from behind there going down into 1 and pretty much destroyed the race car. He had to come around to get it fixed, and so that was his mistake. But I feel like to have that kind of pace, he's got to be pretty solid. It's just, like you said, a rough night.
Absolutely. You know, sometimes you get to a track, you get one early incident, and then it's like bigger car's just expecting it. You're just gonna have every opportunity for something to go wrong. It's gonna go wrong. As we'll take a quick look at the lap times here between Adriano Pinero and Alex Fanasant, see who's tracking where. As it does look like, obviously you can't look at lap 34, 35 because lap 33 as well, because those are the pit stops, but Alex Fanasant 6/10 quicker last lap, so he's coming. Just is he gonna be able to get there before the pit stop, or will it be another pit cycle swing?
Yeah, and I almost wonder if maybe Adriano didn't fill the car up, so he's going to have more fuel on the last stop, where Alex went ahead and just, filled the car completely up. Alex will have a shorter last stop if that's the case. So this could flip around on the last pit stop. We'll see how it shakes out.
Absolutely. And as we're in a little green flag run here, let's go ahead and take a look at some of our sponsors here tonight that help us pay the bills, help us put the show on. Obviously, the presenting sponsor of the Mega Driver 86 IndyCar Series is Mega Driver 86 on Twitter. Mega Driver 86 provides top-notch NASCAR content from past to present. Mega Driver 86 also provides content from IndyCar, Supercars, and more. So make sure you give them a follow over on Twitter, and those links will be on the Elite Racing Twitter page as well. Premier partners of the league are C2 Freight. C2 Freight offers complete freight management services. They're ready to meet your needs today. You know, if you're shipping perishable foods, office equipment, whatever you need to ship, they're ready to help you out. Check out C2 Freight. C2 Freight also offers electronic data interchange, EDI services, which allows shippers to keep close electronic tabs on their shipments throughout the freight movement process. For more information about EDI services or to discuss your needs for other specialized services, be sure to contact C2 Freight. Blue Egg Marketing is also a proud supporter of the Elite Mega 86 IndyCar Series. Blue Egg is the marketing department for all your small businesses. Small business owners, Blue Egg is your biggest fan, and they're ready to help you out, punching above your weight. And one more big sponsor here that we have is Powerhouse Recycling. Powerhouse Recycling strives to offer the highest level of customer service in the industry for each load processed time and time again. Attainable account representatives, prompt and on-time pickups, and customized recycling solutions keeps Powerhouse Recycling as a North Carolina market leader in customer service. They believe in quality customer service before, during, and after the processing of a client's materials. They strongly believe through our superior customer service, customized recycling, and complete transparency that we can earn our clients' business and hold longevity in our business relationships. Check out Powerhouse Recycling today. And of course, tonight's race sponsor, as mentioned by Chris earlier this evening, is 500 Indy 1911 on Twitter. Follow 500 Indy 1911 on Twitter for all your Indy 500 and IndyCar content. And now back to the action here. Still a 3.3 second lead, Adriano Pinero over Alex Van Asant. Those guys doing a really nice job, as we'll actually take a run through the field here, as there's not really too many close battles. Like I mentioned, Adriano is the leader, and he's up here over our friend Alex Van Asant in P2. Behind them, we have Eric Troiano in third, Chad Frankenfield in fourth. Chad's doing a nice job as well tonight, and Victor Del Porto in fifth. As we continue down the order here, I'll let Chris talk about a few other drivers in the field, and we'll continue our way through the field.
Yeah, we got Jared Rexing up to 6th place here. You know, he had that issue on the parade lap, had to start in the pits. So he has earned his way to P6. I'm not sure whether there's enough time left without an incident in front of him or something to bring out a full course yellow that he makes up the 20 seconds he needs to get the victor. But hard fought to get to P6 right now with one pit stop left and about 21 laps. Our fuel window will open here in about 3 or 4 laps to make it to the end. So we will see what everyone does, with a lot of people still having yet to use the reds. We got Ryan Schold there in 7th. He started 10th. He has had a quiet night there. We saw him earlier driving a little bit sideways, but so far so good. A little bit sideways is fine as long as it doesn't get too far sideways where you hit something. And so it's a good solid run there for him in 7th. And then we get into some guys. I got to talk about the guys who have had days going bad here. Hunter Smith there in P8. We've seen him get caught up in a few different issues tonight and soldier on here in 8th, just about 10 seconds or so in front of our leader. He is opting to run the reds right here once again tonight. Then we have Justin Fortner. We saw him have to make a 3-point turn over there in the boot one time. Spun out, was able not to hit anything, but it was in a rough spot, so he had to be very, very careful about getting back going. He is trying to fight back right now, the last car on the lead lap, with the leader, Adriano, just behind him in shot. And that rounds out all our guys on the lead lap.
Justin has done a really nice job rebounding from that 3-point turn earlier today, but he has Adriano in his mirror, and Adriano's going to want to make quick work of him as he continues to try to pull away from Alex Van Asant, as the field continues to be pretty stretched out here, which, I mean, if I'm Adriano, I'm pretty happy with that so far, but he knows Alex is going to make another charge at him. Whoa, as Adriano goes really far off the curb.
Yeah, just got to try to find speed, right? Maybe he knows that he's going to have a little longer stop, this last stop, than what Alex is going to have, trying to create a gap. And
yeah, like you mentioned,
nonetheless, Alex has kind of closed that gap down to about 3.5 seconds, and it stayed there, but it was about 5 seconds when he came out. So Alex has already kind of cut into that 1.5 seconds, and it's just been hovering a little bit closer than 3.5, a little bit outside 3.5. But for the most part, it's stayed in that 3.5 range. So Alex is just, I think, maybe comfortable where it's at.
Yeah, these guys are definitely pushing hard, definitely trying their best to get the most out of these cars. You know, Justin Fortner is doing a really nice job staying ahead of Adriano here, but Adriano definitely is going to want to make quick work of him as soon as possible. And like you mentioned, Adriano's probably going to have a bit of a longer stop here if that is indeed what happened to Alex Van Asant, which would be most likely the right call for him to try to fill that thing as much as he could, and Adriano just filling up to the next pit stop. But so far so good for these guys, and we'll see what they can do here with the 19 laps to go.
Yeah, and they both, I think, will be putting on a set of reds whenever this last stop occurs.
And now
so the lap time should shoot up with these guys on reds here whenever they decide to put them on.
Now, for those that aren't into the open wheel stuff and whatnot, can you explain to the average um, non-regular fan what the benefit of switching to reds would be at the end of a race, and compared to the whites or the blacks or whatever other tire they might be on?
Yeah, for the most part, the blacks are more stable through the longevity of the run. They will not fall off as much towards the end of the run. You still got to take care of them because they still have some fall off, but it's a little bit of a harder compound. Whereas the reds, they are going to be blazing fast, a softer compound, but after about half the time, after about 10 laps, 8 or 10 laps here at Watkins Glen is what it would be, those things are going to fall off a cliff. You're going to give up a ton on the long run. So a lot of these guys, it looks like tonight, have played their strategy to where they are going to be able to make this last run about 10 laps, which is about half of what they've been going, and just run really hard on the reds to the end and stretch out the black runs early in the race. Or we saw about a quarter of the field start the race on reds and shorten that first run. That's usually the way you'll go. You'll either start on reds or you'll end on reds. A lot of guys won't run them somewhere in the middle.
So it's really if you want to have your harder run to be your first run or the last run, and it adds a little bit of a speed to your car. I'm guessing that's sort of what the benefit would be, right? Is going to be a little quicker, a little bit of a softer compound, and kind of give you that little bit of an edge over your competitors.
Yeah, for about half the run, the reds are the tire to have, but then when they fall off, the blacks are what you want for the longer run. It doesn't add speed so much like in a straight line, but just better cornering. The car's going to turn a little better. You're going to be a little bit better, everywhere. Every time you're turning the wheel on a red tire, you're a little bit better than somebody on blacks for a shorter run. Where the blacks really pay off is the longer run.
Absolutely, and that would typically be either you're going to make a long run at the end of the race, or you want to go long in the middle to shorten up your start and finish, things along that line. This battle here with Adriano and Alex is kind of stuck at 3.5 seconds, and otherwise there's not too many battles out in the field here, as Adriano's just kind of riding. He knows his last pit stop's coming up shortly. Obviously, he pit 2 laps before Alex last time, so knows he. I'm assuming he's going to have to come down a little bit sooner because Alex probably took a little bit more fuel. But this could get interesting because that 3.5 seconds can get eaten up real fast when it comes to a pit cycle.
Yeah, and one of our pit reporters here caught up with Ethan, and he said that the rear of the car had been unpredictable since the first incident. Just a bad night for him. Now time to focus on the Truck Series Championship. That comes your way Sunday nights on Elite Racing Network. So tune in and watch Ethan go for that Truck Championship and battle all the way to the end. And just a bad night there. Just damage from that first wreck, it looks like, hindered him all night long.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really unfortunate too because, like you mentioned, Ethan was having a really good night. He is still out there on track right now, as it does look like the final pit cycle has begun with Hunter Smith coming down pit road from the 8th position. He's fallen back to 9th now, but he's getting this underway. They can definitely make it to the end, so you might see someone else on pit road here shortly. But back to Ethan Stanley, he is still out on track, so I got to give him credit for that. He's had quite a few incidents tonight, most of them really just unlucky and taking the wrong bounce on the track, but kudos to Ethan, and on behalf of us up here in the booth, we definitely wish him luck in the Truck Championship. Obviously, I'm going to be cheering for my teammates, but I'll be cheering for Ethan as well, just because he took the time to have a little chat with us and let us know what he was feeling tonight.
And now they are in their fuel window to make it to the end. Hunter Smith, as you mentioned, is one of the guys that has pitted. He's already used his reds, so I don't look for these guys like Adriano and Alex, as Alex with a big slide over there in the boot right now. Like, wow, great catch there. I don't look for these guys to pit much before about 10 to go, because they're going to be putting reds on. So I don't think that they're going to run. I would be surprised to see them pit right now and run 15 laps on the reds. That would surprise me.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's more going to be, like you mentioned earlier, probably about a 10-lap run, maybe even a little bit less. That these guys are going to put in on these red tires. But Alex is doing a really nice job. You know, he's trying to keep things moving, keep things charging forward. Justin Fortner, next car down pit road out of our top 10 here. Uh, he will likely cycle back to being about a lap down here. But good run for Justin tonight so far, as Adriano and Alex continue to charge up front. Eric Troiano continues to just hold his own in P3, having a good night, quiet night, just out for a cruise, and it's a good cruise for him.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how these pit stops shake out here amongst our 2 leaders. Very curious to see what happens when they put on the reds, who's got the pace, and very curious to see how much fuel they have to put in. I think Alex might have filled it up, and Adriano maybe didn't. So we will see if that gap closes back up.
Yeah, obviously it's going to be a bit more than a splash and go for a guy like Alex, but he's going to have to take less fuel most likely, and like we mentioned earlier, he gets some really strong entries into the pit road, so that could give him a bit of an edge on Adriano, as I don't think Adriano is really charging as hard into the pit road as Alex has, but it's going to be interesting to see who has the complete package when it comes to this final pit stop, as that's really going to be the money stop for all these guys. Adriano currently has the pace on track. He's quick. He's continues to stay ahead of Alex Van der Sant, but taking a look, 4 of the last 5 laps have been all Adriano pulling away from Alex, but pit stop is going to change things up.
Yeah, and he's been faster for the last 5, but it's still in that, it's 3.9, so it's still close enough for me to say it's in that like 3.5 window, a little more, a little less. It's not like he's been killing Alex. It's still very close, very much closer than it was when the run started. So if the fuel stops kind of flip here, Alex is still close enough to be the leader on the other side of this pit stop.
Absolutely, as we do have another incident. Michael Hossack has crashed his car. Let's take a look on our Whiskey Cast replay here, see what happened. He's entering this bus stop here. I wonder if it's the same as what we saw. No, he clips a little bit of that grass here, and really upsets that car. Sends him into the tire wall, and that'll likely send him back home to Canada. Disappointed tonight.
Yeah, he got it slowed down too much there and stayed too far to the left through the middle of that.
Is Ryan Schuld now coming down pit road from the 7th position. That'll continue the pit stops out of this top 10. Just ahead of him, though, Jared Rexing continuing that climb up to the top with that number 10 Nesquik machine. Great recovery for Jared. He's definitely going to be happy tonight. But continuing to look at these guys, 3.5 seconds.
Yeah, look at that. Alex put it back down again. Alex said, all right, it's almost a 4. Let me go out here and bust a lap a little bit.
Yeah, Alex Van der Sant, he's quick. Looks like his last lap was his quickest of the race at a 1:27.6. Chad Frankenfield down pit road from the 4th position here. But, that was Alex Van der Sant's quickest lap of the race. So he's flipped that switch. He's ready to go. He's going to be chasing down Adriano here, and Adriano is going to be watching that mirror closely.
Yeah, I look for Chad here to probably put on reds. If you have to run 2 different tire compounds, which I think you do, I look for this to be a swap to reds for Chad.
Yeah, I think,
and it is.
Yeah, you are correct. It is a red stop here for Mr. Chad Frankenfield as he comes off pit road. You see those red rims here, or red border around the tires here. That does indicate he is on his reds. We'll head back up here to Adriano. Adriano's on pit road. Ooh, as he comes in a little hot and has to lock it up, Alex Van der Sant passes him, takes the lead back. It's going to be interesting because, Alex is pushing it. He is quick. He ran, his last lap was just about as quick as Adriano's best, so going to do whatever he can to separate.
Being the first one to reds, we will see a new fastest lap here. The question is, how far does I think Alex probably would like to run 2 more, get the 10 to go. I think that's the lap. But Adriano is going to have 2 laps probably on reds here before Alex pits. So we will see if Alex kind of has to answer that call here real quick.
Adriano has exited pit road as Alex is in the last part of the track here. He's coming to the final few turns, so he's definitely got himself a nice little gap here, about 28.2 seconds over Adriano now, as Alex is definitely going to be happy with that. And like I mentioned, Adriano had a little bit of a botched entry onto pit road, had to lock up the tires, and that's something that Alex has really avoided so far. So if Alex can continue his strong entries onto pit road, it's that might call the end of Adriano's chance, but you never know.
Yeah, and we were calling 10 to go, so this is a couple laps outside the window. Alex still staying out, so like I said, I just don't know. Adriano is probably going to be still the leader with Alex staying out another lap. Even if Alex has a little shorter stop, Adriano is going to have couple fast laps on the reds, but I just think that north of 10 is still, Alex just wasn't comfortable yet. I don't know that I would be comfortable, pitting when Adriano did there to get those reds and asking them to do that much. I think the last 5 laps, Adriano is going to be holding on those reds.
Absolutely, yeah. Adriano is definitely going to have to do whatever he can to hold on. He's closing the gap a little bit there, just trying to catch him. Actually, Eric Troiano, who was in 3rd place most of the night, has crashed the car. Let's check out our Whiskey Cast replay and see what happened. Looks like he's going to be entering the bus stop. I wonder if he clips the grass here as well, as we've seen a few times tonight. He just hops that curb and off he goes into that inside wall. That's really unfortunate.
That's a race-ending hit there.
That's a game ender, game over for Eric Troiano, and that's really unfortunate. He had such a strong run tonight. Like I mentioned, he was quiet all night, but he held his own there in P3 all night long. And actually, just as we watch Alex Van der Sant going around the track here, 10 to go, and he is coming down pit road.
Once again, nailed it.
Another quick entry here. Good job by Alex Van der Sant. His last lap around was his quickest of the race once again at a 1:27.43. Let's watch Adriano and see him coming around the track. See how
this is going to probably be the fastest lap of the session right now so far to this point.
This is definitely he looks so quick coming around this corner. He might even get a little bit of a pull from that lap car here. Adriano at the line, 126.68. That is nearly 1 second quicker than Alex Van der Sant's quick lap.
And Alex had another slow stop. I wonder what's going on with Alex in pit road right here.
Yeah, Alex Van der Sant comes off pit road 5.9 seconds behind Adriano. That's going to be tough to get in these last 10 laps. Obviously, Alex has been really strong, so he can run him down, but that'll be tough.
Yeah, and they're both on reds. Alex will be able to run a lap right there with what Adriano has ran. They'll be able to run these really fast laps for probably 3, 4, 5 laps before they start falling off. But that gap is going to be just too much to overcome, I think.
And that's really unfortunate. We saw these guys battling so hard all night long. We'll definitely have to, if we get a chance to talk to Alex here at the end of this race, we'll definitely have to get him to dissect that pit stop and just let us know what was causing it to be a little bit slower than Adriano's the last 2 pit stops. I don't know if maybe wasn't hitting his marks in the box or if it was just a slow release, but definitely, pit road has not been Alex Van der Sant's friend in the second half of this race.
Yeah, and that's what you hate. Alex was so fast. Alex is probably, I venture to say, the fastest car. But it's just so hard. You can't overcome sitting on pit road 3 or 4 more seconds over everybody else.
Oh, especially at a track like this where, every corner, every brake, and every braking point, every throttle up, everything matters so much more than than most other places, and Adriano's just done such a nice job tonight. He's been so smooth. Um, I thought his pit stop was going to be worse than Alex's there because he did kind of botch the entry, but no, it's actually Alex Vanersant has got about a second off that lead. He's 4.8 seconds behind now. So Alex is doing a nice job, but 9 laps to go. It's still going to be a stretch for sure, but we'll see what he can do, see how close they can get, and we may have a battle on our hands if Adriano gets into some lap traffic here soon.
Yeah, it will be very interesting to see what happens here. Alex is a guy that I know can get up on the wheel and try to make something happen, and the last thing I would want behind me if I'm Adriano is a pissed off Alex driving, as hard as he can and making good pace doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if Alex can get in that 3.5 second range, probably with about 8 laps to go, 7 laps to go, he's definitely got a chance. He's already cut about 2 seconds off that lead.
Look at that lap.
That was a fast lap, 126.20. That's about a half second quicker than the fast lap that we saw by Adriano, which we thought maybe Alex would just match, but Alex is like, nope, that fast lap is mine, and I'm coming for Adriano, and definitely is.
Yeah, I mean, if they catch traffic, how does that play out? It's a long time on reds. Adriano is going to have to go, 2 or 3 laps further on reds right here at the end of this race than what Alex has to go. So theoretically, it's still kind of in Alex's court as far as the situation with everything except, losing. He's lost about, he lost another 2 or 3 seconds there on pit road. And the very first time he was leading, so he lost about 6 or 7 there. So he's given up around 10 seconds on pit road in the last 2 stops. And you can only dig yourself out of that hole so many times. Does he have one more really good dig into the ground here to be able to overcome it this run?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just in shock at how quick Alex Vanersant is getting around this circuit. He's gonna be he's gonna be around 3 seconds or less as he comes to line this time. Difference from Adriano, 2.95 seconds, as he was nearly a second quicker than Adriano that lap. So I don't think this battle's over, Chris. I think we're gonna have some interesting finishes here.
Yeah, I hope so. We're sitting here with just about 7 laps to go, and Alex he strapped a rocket to the back of that thing, so.
Absolutely. Adriano seems to be a little quicker in the first half of the track, and then the second half of the track, Alex is just lights out. He's so much quicker, and he just gets through those corners and so much better than Adriano, and it's pretty impressive to watch. And I'm just glad that we were here to witness this tonight. Even if Alex doesn't get back up to him, the drive he's had on this last run has been pretty amazing, and definitely something he should be proud of. As Chad Frankenfield actually joins the podium here, he's up in 3rd. Victor Del Porto is chasing him down, so this is going to be a nice little battle here as well. As Victor wants those points. He's second in points, chasing down Alex Vanersant, so if he can get up there and pass Chad Frankenfield, that's only 1 position difference on the track, and gives him a chance to kind of keep that gap with Alex. And
one position for now.
1 position for now, that's right, as Alex Vanersant continues his charge. He's only 2.19 seconds back. That's pretty impressive considering he was 5.8 seconds back when he came off pit road only about 3-4 laps ago.
Yeah, and these two are the fight for the win. This is the battle, and it's incredible watching Alex, just make time around here right now.
Absolutely. Alex is driving so smart and so hard. Because actually, I think that's Adriano in his windshield there.
Oh yeah, there's nobody in front of them right now. Between them, Adriano is coming up to some lap cars here. One of the P6 too. It's Ryan Scholl there, just turning in front of him.
As we we watch here on board with Alex Fantasy, he is closing in so fast, 1.5 seconds behind Adriano Pinero. And Adriano's...
Adriano is sliding. Like I said, this is about, you know, when I thought he would fall off with 5 to go or so, I didn't think running 12, 13 laps on the set of reds was feasible as far as being able to maintain pace. And I think that's what we're seeing here. I think Adriano's reds are already giving up.
Yeah, as we watch here from the topper view, he's just getting closer and closer. Almost 1 second difference right now between these two, and that's pretty impressive considering that Alex was so far back not too long ago. Less than a second separates those two right now. This is one heck of a battle.
Yeah, you know, Alex kind of stuck to his guns there, and he went down to 10 to go. You know, on the reds, he did not try to. He didn't get his hands forced there and pit and get those reds earlier than he wanted, and I think that's paying off here.
Absolutely. We head back in car here with Alex Fantasy once again. Like you mentioned, Adriano is coming up on some lap cars here. As you can see just ahead of him here, he does have a few cars. Ryan Schultz is one of those, as you mentioned. So this could get interesting. I know these guys will likely just move out of the way knowing these are the leaders with less than 5 to go. But this is getting real interesting and real fast. And you definitely don't want to miss these last 5 laps here on the Elite Racing
Yeah,
Network.
and that is not Ryan Schold right in front of them. That is another car who is... Oh, he's holding up the leader here. The leader runs offline. That Alex is there. 4 to go, and Alex is there. That lap car tried to do a good job getting out of the way. He could have probably done better. But wow, this is the battle. 4 laps to go at Watkins Glen, and we've got Alex versus Adriano, each on reds. Alex has got about 3 lap fresher tires, though. I think that's going to make all the difference.
Alex Fantasy looking to make the move here.
They're going to try to go side by side through the bus stop.
Wow.
And they do it. Alex runs out the grass a little bit, but wow.
This is amazing. What a battle between these two. These guys are absolute wheelmen. Alex has to be really methodical here with his next pass. He doesn't want to get caught off corner here, but he's going to make another effort here to dive to the inside. Wow, wow, wow.
Adriano just has nothing left for tires. You know, he's putting up a fight, but I just didn't like the call to pit as soon as he did for those reds, and I think that's what we're seeing bite him here.
Like you mentioned, you know, it is only a 2-lap difference, but those 2 laps make a huge difference, especially when they're pushing as hard as they are. You know, they're definitely burning the rubber off these tires, but those 2 laps that Alex has to his advantage over Adriano, that could be the difference between first and second here at the end of this race.
Yeah, and they're both running that defensive line. They're 3 to go at the line.
Alex is kicking his chops here, getting ready, planning out his next move. I wonder if he's going to try to make it through the bus stop once again, because I think that might be his best bet, is he's going to get that draft off of Adriano and have a chance to dive here. He's right there. Yeah, Adriano opens the door once again, gives Alex the...
Adriano missed it, and Alex lifted early and gave it to him. Alex does not like going through there side by side, and that's it. That's the lead change. That's the race. Alex is through, and he is gone.
Alex Fantasant now 1.3 seconds ahead of Adriano. You know Adriano's not just going to give up here, but Alex has those 2 laps fresher tires. He's been really strong all night. Not that Adriano hasn't, but you know, Alex has been... This has been Alex Fantasant's race tonight. And, you know, it's definitely unfortunate for Adriano that he's not going to be able to hold on right now, but kudos to those guys for that battle. That was pretty incredible. And Alex now almost 1.6 seconds up. He's just going to try to finish this thing in one piece and just try to maintain that pace above Adriano here.
Yeah, we come into 2 laps to go here. Great strategy call by Alex to run those couple more laps on the reds. And the call on the back stretch there too, and the chicane, like they went into that bus stop the lap before, and they went through their side by side. So I think Alex knew, okay, he's not going to give it to me. Alex got down in there and he went as deep as he felt comfortable, checked up, and said, "I'm not going to run through here side by side again." And Adriano went in there a little deep and just could not roll through the middle of that bus stop. And Alex being obviously the smarter guy there, rolling out paid off for him because he left him on the exit where Adriano drove in there too deep.
Absolutely, and like I mentioned, it's all methodical and it's all well thought out. Alex really had to think it through. Obviously, he is coming up on another lap car here, so he's going to want to make quick work of them, and hopefully lap car just moves to the side as Alex is going to come and take the white flag here shortly. But this has been an incredible race. The guys that have been the class of the field remain first and second. Victor Del Porto got by Chad Frankenfield running third now. He definitely needed that because he was second in points entering tonight. So a good run for him so far with just 2 to go.
Yeah, and Ryan did pull over and give that to Alex, and now he'll probably pull over on the front stretch and give it to Adriano. Well, I don't know. Adriano's not super close. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it might be more either Ryan's just going to give it to him here. Yeah, Ryan just backs off the gas, lets him go. Classy, respectful driving by Ryan Schuld there. Ryan's having a nice night in 6th place, so he's just going to give it to the leaders and drive it home to his 6th place finish. So good for him, as we have taken the final lap here. 1 to go as Alex Van der Sant heads up into the bus stop for the final time tonight.
Yeah, we got the last lap. We got Alex, Adriano, Victor, Chad, and Jared are the lead lap cars. Great run, great recovery for Jared Rexing after that deal. But we saw a great battle. We saw Alex close all the way up, make the move, make the pass. Ultimately, the winning pass was him letting Adriano go down into the bus stop and miss it. And now here we sit, going to come down through here and make a couple more corners, and Alex is going to win at Watkins Glen.
Absolutely. Alex Van der Sant, with about 10 laps to go, he definitely could have been thinking that his race was over with how far back he was from Adriano, but he just never gave up. He just kept charging and was able to cut off second each lap, sometimes even more, and made that pass. Now he's almost 3 seconds up on Adriano coming into the final set of corners here, as Alex Van der Sant about to take the checker flag here.
No longer about. That is it. Alex wins. Adriano in second. No real battle with third right now. Victor passed Chad and is kind of pulling away, but Chad's went a long time on his reds.
Yeah, Chad pit on lap 40, or he pit on lap 47, so that was quite a while ago. 1 lap before Victor, but as we saw with Alex and Adriano, every single moment on those tires makes a big difference.
Yeah, these guys are coming down into the last 2 corners. It looks like Victor is going to be third. Chad is in fourth.
Victor Del Porto secures that podium spot. Great night for him. Chad Frankenfield fourth, like you mentioned. What a recovery for Jared Rexing. Obviously he didn't grab a podium finish tonight, but 5th place after not even really getting to start the race, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. Great recovery for Jared. He's probably going to be thinking, man, what could have been? Maybe I could have ran there in that battle for third. Got Ryan Schuld, the first car lap down. Justin Fortner, Hunter Smith. Those 3 guys were 1 lap down. Mark Murphy, 2 laps down in 9th. Craig Forsythe, 5 laps down in 11th. All these guys I do not believe were running at the finish there. They might have been, because I think Ethan was still running. So Ethan down in 13th was 8 laps down. Look at that. Cool little donut burnout here, whatever you want to call it. But Alex had to earn that one, had to go get it and go make make it happen there after the pit stops. Yeah, well, it doesn't look like anybody's ready to talk right now. But we saw a great race, great finish, great battles all the way through between Alex and Adriano.
Absolutely. What a night, Chris. Alex Van der Sant taking the victory. Adriano Pinero doing a great job. Unfortunate for him that he couldn't grab the victory. And then Victor Del Porto doing what he had to do to try to get himself up there into that third spot. He's not done. He's just gonna stay out there on track and have himself a little bit of fun, I guess. As
Yeah, and we are joined by third place Victor right now. Victor, great run, great race. Doesn't look like anything for the front two, but the fight for third between you and Chad there at the end was entertaining. We couldn't really see it, couldn't take our eyes off of those front two going at it, but talk us through your night.
Thank you, Chris. Good evening for you and Robert. That end was very, very nice for me because I was closing the gap to Chad, and with the red tire, it was very tough to do good laps. Only the first ones.
Absolutely. And Victor, obviously entering tonight, you were second in points. Um, was that on your mind throughout the whole race that you really had to try to close that gap and stay as close as you could to Alex Van der Sant, or was it really just let's just go out here, have some fun and see what we can do?
Oh, well, I was trying to save my car with no crashes. So the way Adriano and Alex was racing today was phenomenal. So I couldn't close the gap to both of them. So I tried to stay in the track with no crashes and have a good result in the end.
Absolutely, and a good result you did have tonight, Victor. And before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to? Anyone you want to thank? And let us know how you're feeling.
Yeah, I want to thank you, my sponsor, my team sponsor, Pro Racing Simuladores. It was a Brazilian company who built jack dive, cockpits, pedals, wheels. So access the website proracingsimuladores.com. Sorry, proracingsimuladores.com.br. And my teammates, Eric Macedo, Thiago Benedetti, Carlos Washington, my friends Alex, Sandro da Orions, Thiago Michael. I want to invite all of you who is watching the broadcast to follow my channel on Twitch. My channel is Victor Del Porto Racer, and I want to send some kisses to my mother Lilian and my cousins Julia and Guilherme.
Absolutely, all the love from Victor Del Porto tonight. Victor, great job tonight, and we hope to see you move up a few more steps on the podium next time out here in the Mega 86 IndyCar Series. Thank you for your time tonight, Victor.
Thank you very much. I will keep trying to win the championship.
Absolutely. That was Victor Del Porto, your third place finisher tonight. Obviously, Chris, unfortunately, Adrian Pinero is not around for an interview tonight, but we're going to go ahead and send it straight to our winner this evening, Mr. Alex Van der Sant. Chris, why don't you go ahead and take away the winner interview here with Alex?
All right, Alex. I have done some NASCAR races for Elite. I've done some F1 races for Elite. I've now done an IndyCar race. One thing that has stayed constant is you being competitive and being one of the fast guys. So take us through your night and what makes you so good in every car that you sit in.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Indy car's like my main car, first love, and all that. So, yeah, that was a hell of a race. Adriano and I were like neck and neck on pace on the primary tires, and yeah, and I knew we would probably at least be very close together, close to each other. So, yeah, my goal was to just extend those early stints and then have a bit of a tire advantage at the end, and that absolutely paid off on that second to last stop, it just didn't give me fuel the first time by, so I had to like sit in the box for another 7 seconds, and man, that cost me a lot. So I had to really push to get back to him, and got a little bit back, but it was just that tire advantage in the end that got me ahead of him. I had just that little bit extra life in the tires, and it was enough. But man, fantastic battle. That was just incredible clean racing as usual with Adriano. So really kudos to him. It's always a pleasure racing with him.
Absolutely, Alex. That was an amazing battle for us to watch as well. Obviously, Chris and I are both pretty new to this IndyCar stuff, and that was one amazing battle for us to watch. Obviously, like you mentioned, you had a little bit of a slow pit stop there first time around, and then on the last stop, it looked a little slow as well. Did you think your race was maybe over at that point, or did you know that you still had a shot at Adriano and that you were the guy that was going to win this race tonight?
I mean, honestly, I had no idea. I when I like decided on that strategy, I was banking on like having a little bit of a buffer and track position advantage going into that last stop, which obviously I didn't have. So I put together some really solid laps while he was after he came into the pits. So that helped. I knew he would get a big gap after the last stop because I mean he was on the red tires, like they're just always going to be crazy fast. What I was banking on was that they would fall off for him by the closing laps, and I'd be able to catch back up and pass him by the end, which worked out perfectly, barely. But yeah, that was it. Just worked out. I didn't know like what I didn't know really what to expect there in terms of the gap and whether I'd be able to close up. But yeah, just really happy with how it turned out.
Yeah,
Yeah, it turned
absolutely.
out with you winning. I mean, again, like I said, you've done it in every form of racing. I know we want to get to your shout outs and whatnot, so I'll go ahead and ask that. Do you have anybody you want to shout out or anybody you want to thank? And take me back to that battle. We saw you guys go through the bus stop there side by side the lap before you made the pass, and the lap that you made the pass, you kind of let him go down in there and miss it and passed him on the other side. So was that something that you were thinking about that whole lap leading back up to it?
Yeah, so I wasn't. Yeah, so I mean, the first time I don't know how we survived that, and then going side by side the whole lap was awesome. I mean, I guess blessed by the netcode gods this time, but it's great when it's great when it works out. So really clean, respectful racing from both of us, I think. So yeah, and then the second time he was giving me the inside, and I really wasn't alongside enough. So I thought I'd just like kind of stick my nose in there, spook him, and it worked perfectly. And I mean, I would have gotten him either way. I think that lap, just with how his tires were falling off and how hard he was having to push. But in the end, yeah, that made it a little bit easier, him making that mistake. And I was just able to bring it home from the end. But yeah, shout outs. As always, big thanks to Turn 4 Racing. Shout out to Craig and Nick for jumping in tonight. Their races didn't turn out as well, but it's always good driving with them. Big thanks to everybody at Powerslide Motorsports. We've got the iRacing Indy 500 tomorrow afternoon. I'm in the show. A lot of us are, so really looking to make something happen. And it's been really, really solid week for me. I got my first Lionheart win, so it's just a really, really good week, and hopefully I can carry that momentum through tomorrow.
Absolutely, Alex. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You had one heck of a race. Congratulations on that, and good luck tomorrow in that Indy 500. Hopefully, you can keep that winning trend going, and maybe give us a shout out if there's any sort of broadcast tomorrow night.
Yeah, we'll see. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Alex. Chris, that was one heck of a night tonight.
Yeah, it started off a little crazy, got a little crazy for the first round of stops, and then it kind of fell into the typical Watkins Glen IndyCar race, and then it ended there with the same strategy, just different timing on the pit stops, and it ultimately came down to two guys who were really good all night. The best two cars got to battle it out, and it was a great, exciting race here tonight at Watkins Glen. I'm glad I got to be a part of it with you, and look forward to coming back Monday night for the Xfinity race, and I'll let you wrap this thing up here tonight.
Absolutely. Like we mentioned, tonight was a really great night. Obviously, everyone had a great race for us out here this evening. Some guys had some unfortunate incidents, but we're just going to take a quick look at the results of the race here, if I can get that pulled up. If not, I do apologize. But anyways, we'll just run through the results quickly. Obviously, Alex Van der Sant took the victory this evening over Adriano Pinero. Victor Del Porto in third. Chad Frankenfield in fourth. A great run for Chad. Jared Rexing in fifth. He had a great recovery this evening. Obviously, he had that early incident, sent him back to pit road, but he was able to rebound for a fifth place finish, so I'm sure he's pretty happy with that. Ryan Schuld in sixth. Justin Fortner in seventh after that beautiful 3-point turn he made. Hunter Smith, nice recovery to eighth. Mark Murphy, quiet night for the rookie, top rookie this evening in P9. And Craig Forsyth in 10th. And then rounding out the field, we have Eric Macedo in 11th. Eric Troiano in 12th, so Macedo got the battle of the Erics this evening. Ethan Stanley in 13th. Michael Hossack 14th. Mark Rubilas 15th. Tiago Benedetti 16th. Joao Ritter 17th. Joseph Grijalva in 18th. And Nicholas Sudik in 19th. So, Chris, I think that'll do it for us this evening. Any last words for you, or can we send it home here from Watkins Glen?
Man, I think I'm good to go when you are. I know that the first call I'm going to make here after the end of this season before next season gets rolling, before I strap into one of these things, is going to be to Alex and figure out where all the speed is in these Indy cars.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I'll be giving Alex a call too for any official races I do, or even looking ahead to next Elite Indy 500 next season. But from all of us here at the Elite Racing Network, he's Chris Wright. I'm Robert Hill Jr., and thank you for joining us this evening. Until next time, have a good one.